What's going on out there? And welcome to another exciting edition of KDG Company proudly presents Movie Talk Challenge. Movie Talk Challenge. You know what? I think this is our first episode of Movie Talk Challenge. And you're in luck, because we got a good challenge for you tonight. In one corner, we have The Dark Knight of Gotham. Bam. And then we have, in another corner, The Prince of Wakanda. Bam. Bam. That's right. Black Panther versus Batman Begins. A new classic versus an old classic. That's right. You got to have these two in your film library. You got to have these two. These are classic films. Now, let's get on down to it. I'm your host with the most. Your man, your boy, your ace, Andre Shane. Better known as Mr. Shoes. All right. Now I know what you're asking yourself. You say, how is it possible we could choose between Batman Begins and Black Panther? Well, it's quite simple, my dear Watson. You see, we have a 4-point grading system where we grade these films on origins, story, villain, and the star rating. The star rating is what the film critic committee gives all these films. You know what I'm saying? I mean, KDG Company, we ain't got nothing to do with that, but we're going to keep this as fair and as unbiased as possible. So we're going to go by their star rating. All right, let's break it on down to origin. All right, the first origin, Batman. Now, everybody knows the story of Bruce Wayne, the billionaire, the young billionaire that witnessed the murder of his parents, getting gunned down in cold blood, which traumatized him so much that he would grow up to become the DCU's greatest detective and one of the greatest superheroes of all time, if not the #1 superhero in comic book history, Batman. Now, it's just that in this film, Christopher Nolan dives deep into his relationship with his parents leading up to that murder. Now, let's go into Black Panther's origin story. Now, Black Panther's origin story, if you watch the film, the first time you see T'Challa, he's already in his getup, he's already in his outfit, he's ready to go on his first mission. Now, you got to think to yourself, like, man, did I miss something? Yeah, if you didn't watch Captain America Civil War, you missed it. See, watching this film, it takes place right after Captain America Civil War. So if you didn't see Captain America Civil War, you're lost. Now, to me, I think it's dope. However, in this competition, you gotta have the full origin story. So I have to say Batman Begins takes the win on this one. 1 point goes to Batman Begins. Now, let's go into the story, the synopsis. Now, Batman Begins synopsis is basically about the early journey of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's the characters that ends up influencing him to becoming Batman and how he views the criminal activity, how he views criminals, and how he changes his outlook on crime. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in this journey, he takes 7 years away from Gotham, and he journeys to Asia, where he bumps into Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul trains him. Now, here's the funny thing. They'll probably believe that Ra's al Ghul trains him, from the League of Shadows, and then he, rebels and becomes Batman. That's all Christopher Nolan. That never happened in comics. He was actually trained by William Neeson's second character that he played besides Ra's al Ghul, Henry Ducard. Because when he introduces himself to Batman, he calls himself Henry Ducard, and then he points to Ra's al Ghul, the older Asian gentleman sitting, yonder. Henry Ducard in the comics actually trains Batman manhunting skills in Paris, France. Batman issue 599. You can actually find this. And later on, Henry Ducard would train the third Robin, Tim Drake. So, yeah, the whole myth about Ra's al Ghul training Batman and him being part of the League of Shadows, all made up. Now, back to the story. The story, Batman, this is just his journey. Bruce Wayne becoming Batman. And these intimate characters that, help him and shape him and mold him into becoming the Dark Knight that we know and love. That's just all that Batman Begins is about. Now, going into the Black Panther story, Black Panther, on the other hand, it takes right after Civil War, like I said, and he's now king. So now he has a duty of protecting Wakanda at all costs, as well as also becoming a superhero, and fighting crime in Wakanda. But he's threatened with the fact of the royal families, the royal tribes that have their own agendas and want to go ahead and jack for his position. And then you have Ulysses Claw, who's a great threat to him, and have been for many, well, since his father was in office, his father was king. His father had to deal with Ulysses Claw. So he has that threat as well, which people in Wakanda have been pressuring him to deal with. But the greatest threat of all is Eric Killmonger, who has a huge personal bone to pick with him, which we're going to get into the whole villain breakdown of Killmonger after this. But what makes this movie unique, this story unique, is the fact that they use the African diaspora, which is the displacement of people. In this case, it's the displacement of people of African descent. And they use that where you have the Eric Killmonger character, who is African-American, who's beefing with the Wakandans who are African. And they look at him as an outsider. And to use this real cultural, social issue and bring it to the big screen and use it into fantasy, it's unprecedented. I'm going to go ahead and have to give this the win, baby, because this is something huge, this is something major, and it definitely gets the point for a story. Now we go into the villain. Now you have Ra's al Ghul in the League of Shadows, and you also have Scarecrow. Scarecrow was connected to the League of Shadows, going against Batman. Now, here's the thing. The League of Shadows have a bone to pick with Gotham. They want to burn it down. And they want the Prince of Gotham himself, Batman, to help them, burn down Gotham. However, of course, Batman ain't up for that. Bruce ain't down for that. So, the deal is, they have this agenda because they say, well, Liam Neeson, he says, is Ra's al Ghul, that, hey, when so many centuries we go into these different continents and different countries, and we burn down these civilizations, these empires, because they become too corrupted and on their wealth and their decadence, that they have to be brought down. And Gotham is just another one. But the deal is that it doesn't show any personal vendetta that he has against them. It's just the way he gets down. That by itself is just villainy, but not a great villainy to me, but it's villainy nonetheless. So he is a true villain. It's just that there's no conflict like it is with Black Panther, with Eric Killmonger, who has a personal vendetta because of his father being murdered. So I'm going to have to give this to Killmonger. Now, the star rating. The star rating, Batman gets 4 stars. Black Panther, on the other hand, only gets 3.5. So it's a tie. Black Panther walks away with the win, and so does Batman Begins. So, I hope you enjoyed the show. Next time, we're going to have Iron Man versus the Man of Steel. Check it out. It's going to be a hot one. And all for my players and playerettes out there, you got to keep your shoes on. Peace.